What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one, and back here after yet another loss by your Miami Dolphins as this season continues to go from a season full of expectations, hope, and dreams to a downright nightmare. And we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do the usual stuff where we go over all the PFF grades. We're going to take a look at the snap counts. We're going to look at some next-gen stats. We're going to dive in deep. I got a little, and I don't think I've ever put one of his commentary articles up here, but we got a little portion out of an Armando Salguero article I want to go over with you guys. I'm not going to bother going over Brian Flores and his interview today because it was the same generic stuff. I mean, it really wasn't anything, you know what I mean? So he didn't really say anything of note really to me. But I really want to jump in and, every week I do it and we're going to do it again. We're going to do a weekly State of the Dolphins address. We're going to do that. So we're gonna get into that probably. We're gonna get into that first because I got a lot of bones to pick. All right, so let's hop into this right now. I sit here and last night I shut it down early. I went to bed at 8 p.m. Woke up at like 7:30 a.m. Not only because I was tired and I didn't nap from being up early with the kids before the game and everything like that, but I was kind of done with YouTube and Twitter and these people on here. I didn't even bother opening up Facebook, but I see some of these takes and I see some of these opinions, and it's kind of crazy to me because we have one of the most toxic, uneducated fan bases in the NFL. And what's crazy is it's a small portion. It's not even a large portion, but I would say, last year when you heard me talk about it, I talk about 5%. I would say that's up to at least 10% now. We got some genuine idiotic takes out here, and it's starting to rub your boy the wrong way. And I made a promise to myself, other than when people come at me directly that matter, not like little people with 7 followers or 10 followers or 100 followers that no one gives a good goddamn about. They at me, I could care less what they think. But with people who think they matter or give off the perception that they do matter, I'm seeing some of these takes out here, and some of y'all claim to be covering the team, but all you're showing is how big of a casual you are. Like, that's it. Some of these people claim to be covering the Dolphins, and I'm seeing these takes that are worse than a casual. Because let's call it what it is here. Tell your boy came around in this community. The word casual wasn't being thrown much. I started that lingo being thrown around in Dolphin community, okay, in 2019, and it's stuck with it too, especially since I started this channel. And I'm seeing a lot of casuals that are trying to cover themselves up as, reporters or beat writers or people who cover the team. It's bad. Like, it's embarrassing. Some of you should be downright embarrassed. If you came away from that 23-20 loss blaming Tua Tagovailoa for that, you're casual. I don't know what to say. You do not understand the game. You need to reevaluate football. You need to reevaluate your life. Because last I checked, only one quarterback threw more yards against the Jags in the past 6 weeks, and that was Joe Burrow. He also only scored 3 more points than Tua Tagovailoa, but he needed overtime to score those 3 points, if I remember correctly. We want to praise that, but, people don't realize, I said it multiple times during the game. I tweeted it out so the receipt was out there. That Ethan Carter hold was haunting us and was going to haunt us for the rest of that game. Lo and behold, what happened? The Ethan Carter. And not even just the hold. It's what followed the hold. 2nd and goal from the 18. You run the football. 3rd and goal from the 15. You call a screen pass. That tells me you're settling for the field goal. Where the hell was this Brian Flores a couple weeks ago when we needed to just put points on the board when we were getting shellacked by teams, but he wanted to keep going for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. And then let's talk about that 4th and 1. Points that were made here yesterday. Let me recite some of them in case some of y'all weren't around. 4th and 1. Tie game. You call basically a halfback dive from 5 yards back in shotgun instead of under center. So you put Malcolm Brown in a position where he needs to run 6 yards instead of 1 to gain the first down. This was not an RPO, as some people have tried to lead y'all to believe on FinFans panel. This was a designed run play. Brian Flores even talked about it today. What did Brian Flores say the last question he was asked? The last question he was asked was, and I quote, I know you talked a little bit about the 4th and 1 with Malcolm Brown and liking what you saw there, but a lot of times you'll see the coaches put the ball in their quarterback's hands in those fourth quarter situations. I'm curious how much thought about letting Tagovailoa get that, and why wasn't that the answer there? Brian Flores' response, and I quote, we thought about that. We just felt like we had some success with Malcolm in that instance and felt good about the play. Look, you have to give Jacksonville credit. They made a good play there, and we didn't get it done. So right there, he's telling you, you don't need to know the play call. He's telling you it was a designed run to Malcolm Brown. That was not an RPO. Come on. And the guy out here trying to tell y'all it was an RPO, I wouldn't trust him to evaluate my last dump, let alone a player in the NFL right now. But I digress. So you've got this blunder going on. And on top of it, you ran the Jacoby Brissett play earlier in the game where you were on 4th and short and you wanted to bring him in because that's the look you'd put on tape. Except earlier you threw a wrinkle in it and you bootlegged him out for that long completion. So now you have them respecting the fact that you will now pass out of that. They've got to respect the pass as well as the quarterback sneak. Why are you not running 4th and 1 with Jacoby Brissett? You've been doing it since New England when Tua was in there. You pulled him twice in that game for that play. What changed? What made you all of a sudden go down against your 4th and short offensive philosophy? What changed? There's no rhyme or, pun intended, I guess, reason at all. The play calling at times was horrendous. And then the worst part about it, and if you were here yesterday, I played the video for y'all. Y'all saw it firsthand. Urban Meyer came up and got in front of a podium and told each and every one of us that with 6 seconds left, they were originally planning a Hail Mary. They had even lined it up. Does Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer had 2 or 3 timeouts. Does he take a timeout? No. Coach Flores decides he's going to take a timeout. And what the fuck did you do with that timeout, Brian? Because you didn't prepare your defense. Because if you would have prepared your defense, when they would have caught that slant, that your timeout, according to Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, allowed them to change to a play they've been practicing for multiple weeks because you decided to mismanage you mismanaged all your timeouts in the second half. On 2 challenges, we all knew you were not going to get turned over, and whoever's in the upstairs seeing the replays telling you to challenge those, either you're an idiot for listening or you got to fire that guy because he gave you wrong advice. But back to my point, now on this third timeout, you give them a chance to practice something they've been trying for 3 weeks, multiple weeks or whatever the case is. They execute it, and you didn't prepare your defense enough during your fucking timeout that you had to take. You did not prepare them. Don't touch the guy. If he goes down, do not touch him. Even with the give-up rule, that second runs off. But y'all decided to touch him. How in the last 4 minutes, a team that is, buddy, I've been telling all y'all we're dysfunctional behind the scenes since the offseason. It is now in the public eye. The difference between us and the Jaguars is their dysfunction's been in the public eye for weeks. You let a guy who is more concerned about grinding on blondes after team losses than getting his team better outcoach you when it mattered. When it mattered, you got outcoached by Urban Meyer. And your defense, that's your calling card, is one of the worst in the league right now. And you've gone totally, you've gone totally away from where we made our dollars as a defense last year. This was a press man team, and now we're playing zone. We're letting Trevor Lawrence chew us up. Trevor Lawrence has won it. Trevor Lawrence had his best game as a pro against us. Against us. Against this defense. Everyone else is forcing 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions, 1 interception. Y'all can't force 1. Unbelievable. But Tua is the problem. Tua Tagovailoa, who threw for 329 yards. Only one person against the Jaguars defense has thrown more than him, and it was Joe Burrow by 19 yards, who needed overtime to beat the Jaguars by 3. So technically, if you want to go there, Joe Burrow put up the same amount of points in regulation as Tua Tagovailoa did, if you really want to go there. And you know what the crazy thing is about all this? You know what I love the most? Is all you motherfuckers that hate on my quarterback. When we told you he was 7-3, when he told you about his winning record, none of y'all wanted to hear it. But now, because he puts up the numbers, none of y'all believed he'd throw for over 300. Now he goes and he puts up those numbers. Now, the numbers don't matter because he lost. So now wins and losses are a quarterback stat, right? Now because they fit your narrative, wins and losses are a quarterback stat, right? That's how we're doing this? When they weren't working in your favor, we were talking about it. None of y'all wanted to talk about how Tua Tagovailoa outplayed the New England Patriots defense more than Tom Brady, the GOAT. Tua had a better game against that defense than Tom Brady. None of y'all want to talk about that either, do you? Don't fit narratives, does it? Unreal, man. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching all of this. And ignorance is bliss. The delusion is grand. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching this and I'm like, y'all are so miserable. Y'all are trying to blame this kid who goes out. What did he have to do yesterday? 450 yards? 4 touchdowns, no interceptions? Y'all said, this is what I don't get. What if he goes out and puts up better numbers against Baltimore on Thursday Night Football compared to the absolute stinker Justin Herbert put on the field yesterday? Then what's going to be your excuse then? Where are the goalposts going to move? Because you know what's going to happen. Because Justin Herbert put up 6 points and like 195 yards through the air. I'm going to tell you right now, Tua going to put up more than 200 yards in the air against the Baltimore Ravens, and we're going to score more than 6 points. So what's the excuse going to be then? Because y'all are the ones all fascinated over the fact we didn't draft Herbert. Y'all are the ones that keep comparing them. So what's it going to be then? What's the excuse going to be then? I want to know. Put it in the comments. Because you know we're going to outdo what the Chargers did offensively yesterday. And here's the best part of it all. The Miami Dolphins offense with fucking zero running game. Tua Tagovailoa was outrushed by 2 yards by our top gaining running back yesterday. We still put up the most yards as an offense we have all season. And that ain't good enough for y'all. As an offense, we put up the most yards we have all season. Make it make sense, people. Make it. Someone make, and that's with bad play calling, points left on the field thanks to the coaching. That Ethan Carter hold doesn't happen, we score. That Ethan Carter hold happens, but you move back to the 20 on 1st and goal, show some fucking balls with your play calling, and maybe you put up 6 anyways. But you literally handcuffed the kid. And then you handcuffed the kid on, buddy, earlier in the game on 4th and 2, you give him the ball and he completes that long pass to Gesicki over the middle. Tua was 8 for 14 on 3rd downs. We were terrible on 3rd downs the weeks he was gone. Terrible. We even got better on 3rd down because of him. And then when it matters the most, 4th and 1, instead of running the Jacoby Brissett call that you've been doing all year and you even added a wrinkle into earlier in the game, you decide to take the ball out of your best player's hands to get the ball to your best playmaker's hands. And by that, I mean you take the ball out of Tua's hands and don't trust him to get to Waller Gesicki for the 1st down. Do you know when Tua Tagovailoa targeted Mike Gesicki yesterday on 10-plus yards, he had a 118.8 passer rating? I said during the game, the middle of the field is open. Why do we only start taking it and attacking it in the 4th quarter? That's coaching. Buddy, you have a direct line of communication. You call the play in, you tell him to watch the reads over the middle of the field. He comes over to the sideline after a drive. You tell him, we're going to start attacking the field. Watch your reads over the middle of the field. It's open. Was any of that done? No, not till the 4th quarter. Everybody wants to make excuses for everyone else. And you want to place all the blame on this kid's shoulders. Some of you have no business talking football on any platform. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like this is, I've been telling y'all since the offseason. When they were trying to paint this narrative that Tua Tagovailoa has to carry us to the playoffs, I said this is bigger than that. I highlighted the offensive line. I highlighted the coaching. Nobody wanted to listen to me. I had people in my comment section telling me, Brian Flores, the best coach we've had since Don Shula. I dropped what I said about Adam Gase. I said, you know what? Adam Gase, over the first 34 games, had a better record, and he had a playoff. And he had a playoff appearance. People didn't like that. Even Larry even brought it up on Finn's fan panel. People didn't like when I brought up Adam Gase. And I hate Adam Gase. I think Adam Gase is a joke. I think he lied to everyone and sold everyone on being a quarterback whisperer. But a real quarterback whisperer is a guy like Pep Hamilton. That's a quarterback whisperer. Maybe the media don't want to talk about him because he's black. I don't know what the deal is. But Pep Hamilton is a quarterback whisperer, okay? Not the white guy from Denver sniffing smelling salts and allowing his positional coaches to snort up bags of cocaine. That's not a quarterback whisperer, okay? So I just sit back and I look at this and I'm like, it's absolutely crazy to me that you're trying to scapegoat this kid when after 3 weeks removed from that injury. Well, 4 weeks if you want to count the Buffalo game. He's back. When that injury takes about 6 weeks to fully heal. So he's back 2 weeks back 2 weeks earlier than normal. I mean, if you remember, Drew Brees missed 4 weeks when he had his fractured ribs, right? So, it's unreal. And then this guy drops 351 yards from the line of scrimmage, and that's not good enough. That's not good enough. But why is no one coming for Noah Igbenogany's throat today? Why is no one coming for Noah Igbenogany today? Answer me this. Make it make sense. Why are we talking? I mean, let's talk about Noah Igbenogany. Noah Igbenogany was targeted 7 times, allowed 64 touchdowns, 3 first down. Sorry, allowed 64 yards, 3 first downs, and a touchdown. Marvin Jones, 3 for 4 for 54 yards, 2 firsts, and a touchdown against Noah Igbenogany. That's more of an issue than Tua Tagovailoa's performance. And guess what? He was only taken 25 picks later in the first round. Why aren't we talking about Austin Jackson? Austin Jackson's been moved to left guard, sure. But guess what? Austin Jackson had 5 pressures allowed yesterday. Austin Jackson is still number 1 in the NFL in pressures allowed with 29. Why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about the guy who put up 351 yards from the line of scrimmage? This makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It's unreal to me that this is what people are focusing on. Selective blame is being placed here. Nobody wants to talk about all of those other people. Everyone just wants to focus in on him. Why? It's time for y'all to start looking and seeing the bigger picture here. This goes well beyond the quarterback. I've been saying this for weeks. I've been saying this since the season started. But y'all want to keep pointing to the quarterback because that's the easiest scapegoat. That tells me that everything is black and white with you people, that you only see things at face value. You don't ask, why is this happening? Why did this drive stall out? We're one of the most undisciplined teams in the NFL right now. That comes down to coaching. That's a direct reflection of coaching. But all these coaches keep getting passes? Why? Tell me why. And I don't like PFF. PFF isn't what I fall back on. But tell me why they have Tua Tagovailoa as the highest graded Miami Dolphin player. Tell me why the eye test matches a PFF grade in terms of Tua Tagovailoa outperformed Trevor Lawrence yesterday. Why Tua has a higher grade than Trevor Lawrence from yesterday. Tua had an 83.9. Trevor Lawrence had a 79.3. And I don't back up PFF like that. I ripped them quite a lot, but what they saw yesterday clearly backed up what I saw. They were the first. That was the first game done on Sunday, yet that was one of the last games to have its grades come out for. And imagine if Tua did not have the interception. His grade would have been into the 90s probably. And I'm not even defending them. Because I don't know what their scale of grading is. I've never seen it in terms of that. I've just seen the stuff that I've seen in the handbook they sent me, and it didn't have a grading scale. So, I mean, you tell me. You tell me how even PFF is telling all y'all that Tua Tagovailoa was not only the best quarterback on the field yesterday, but he was the best player for the Miami Dolphins. But, you know, not enough people want to talk about that. People who have used PFF grades for their articles, their videos, whatever, before, all of a sudden don't want to talk about it right now. Or they want to mock PFF when they've used it before. Now, I've mocked PFF, and I've been consistent since day one. I've been straight up with you guys. The only time I ever really take PFF to heart is if it lines up with my eye. If it doesn't line up with my eye, I just tell y'all what the grades are. I don't hold them in the highest regard. So that's just my opinion. Anyways, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. If you'd like to donate to the channel, PayPal.me/Phinside. You can also do through the super chat. Become a Phinside the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. Patchvibes.com, use code Phinside, save 20% off your order. Backroomcollection.net, use code Reason, save 10% off your order. And then ThriveFantasy.com, use code Phinside to have every dollar up to your first $100 deposited matched by Thrive Fantasy, the number one source in fantasy prop betting. All right, let's get into everything today in terms of we're going to go over the snap counts as usual. We're going to go into I'm going to show y'all the PFF grades. We'll dive into the analytics. Then we'll hop over to next gen stats. We'll look at some passing charts. We'll look at some analytics. And you know what the worst part is? I've said this, I said this in the summer. I'm going to say it again. All of you would not even have allowed Josh Allen to get to his third year. All you people trying to bash Tua and trying to discredit Tua, I mean, you would have been the same portion, because you know what existed, of the Buffalo Bills fan base that was telling everyone you got to move off you got to move off Josh Allen. Josh Allen is garbage. Josh Allen is crap. Josh Allen is never going to be a good quarterback. And then year 3 hit and boom. How did that one feel? But y'all would have been the same. All you Tua haters would have been the same one saying move off Josh Allen. And then you would have sat back, watched him in year 3 go to another team that knew how, that got the most out of him, and you would have, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Y'all would have been the same people. Tua Tagovailoa, I want y'all to realize this. Tua Tagovailoa, in his first 11 full starts, all right, we're not going to count the Buffalo game because he got knocked out after 7 snaps. So on his first 11 full starts where he saw into the fourth quarter, whether he got benched or not last year, doesn't matter. Those count as full starts. He already has 2 300-yard plus games. Josh Allen did not have his first 300-yard game until year 2. And Tua already has 2 of them. Further, proving my point, y'all wouldn't have given a guy like Josh Allen time. Y'all just would have tried to send him down the river, down the boat, and you just would have all buried him. and we wouldn't even been able to enjoy year 3 of that. That's how. And here's the thing too, like most of you were here through the Tannehill era, guys. Tua Tagovailoa through 11. Oh, by the way, I lied. Sorry, I lied. I apologize. Josh Allen didn't have his first 300-yard passing game until year 3. It was year 3 when he had his first. I apologize. It was not year 2. So something that took Josh Allen, who many consider a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, something that took him 3 years to do, Tua Tagovailoa has done twice in 12 games, 11 full starts. But he's the problem. Okay. He's the problem. Unreal. Like, it's just unreal to even think this is going on. My God. Something that took, like, I stand by my point. Y'all would not have given Josh Allen the time to see what he is right now in year 3. This is why when you go back to 2019, when I was on TD Finstock and we were doing our roundtable, I said, any quarterback you draft, you give 3 years. You give 3 years. I've said that from the beginning, until you have a firm evaluation and know what a player is. So I stand by that. And I said that before we drafted Tua. So that's not even a Tua thing. People want to try and put it there. All right. Now, let's get into some snap counts here. So when you look at the offensive snap counts, what's crazy is, first of all, what should stand out to you is Matt Collins had the most snaps of any wide receiver yesterday. That's kind of crazy, even more than Jalen Waddle. Gesicki, for the game he had 9 less snaps than his counterpart, Durham Smythe, which is kind of crazy. And then Gaskin, who had probably his worst game of the year so far, had one of his, I think this was his lowest snap count of the year, on 36%. He only had 25 snaps, so got to be better than that in terms of getting him more snaps. But he was even with Brown, obviously. And if you look, Kirk Merritt didn't even get any offensive snaps. Instead, they spread them out between Albert Wilson and Isaiah Ford. All right, now, when we look at the defensive snaps for the Miami Dolphins, stuff that automatically should stand out is, Igbenogany had a good, he had 100% of the snaps, and it, wasn't that great of a showing. He's not very good at football right now. Baker had 65 snaps for 98%. And then you go look at the usage. Phillips had 82% of the snaps, and that's really, really good. And then Javon Holland had 100% of the snaps, and it's clear that the youth movement and the draft picks they made this year in regards to the defense early on, they're getting pushed forward and having more responsibility put on their plate and put on their shoulders. So, and you look at, Jason McCourty, his snaps down to 14 snaps out of 66 defensive snaps, down to 21% of the snaps. And, you got Jenkins, now that Raekwon's back, his workload has obviously lightened a ton. So interesting things when we look at snap counts week by week. You see who is starting to be trusted more in certain positions by the coaching staff, and you see usages fluctuate, whether for good or for bad for players. So always interesting to look over the snap counts for every week. All right, let's get into the PFF grades for week 6 with the Dolphins and the Jaguars. All right. So when you look at the offense, like I said earlier, Tua Tagovailoa, he was your highest graded offensive player. Ethan Carter, I don't really count that because he only had 4 snaps, same as Jacoby Brissett, right? Like for me, it's got to be 10 snaps or more. And so, Robert Hunt on 10 snaps or more was your second highest graded Dolphin. Jalen Waddle would have been your third. Gesicki would have been your fourth. And then Mance would have been your fifth. Another game with Mance where I don't think he allowed a pressure. We'll get into it in a second, but if I remember correctly, I don't think he allowed a pressure. But so yeah, Tua Tagovailoa, fantastic stuff. 83.9 offensive grade, 81.0 passing grade, 68.5 run grade. And if he wouldn't have thrown that interception, imagine what that number would be right now. And then Liam Eichenberg and Jesse Davis were your lowest graded offensive players for the Dolphins, and that's scary because those are both your tackles. Gaskin was right there with them. Isaiah Ford only on 5 snaps. Albert Wilson pretty low. Salvin Ahmed low as well. Yeah, and Austin Jackson, I don't know how he's managing those grades when he's allowing the pressures he's allowing, but here we are. So let's take a look at the pass blocking for the Miami Dolphins. When you look at it, how it works and how it goes down, Jesse Davis allowed 6 pressures on 4 hits, 2 hurries. Austin Jackson allowed 5 pressures, 5 hurries. Eichenberg had a 15.2 pass blocking grade. He allowed 1 hit and 4 hurries on 5 pressures. Robert Hunt allowed 2 pressures, 2 hurries on 2 pressures. Smythe, so I was wrong. Mance did allow 1 pressure. I just didn't remember. So if you look at how it works, 19 of the 20 pressures came from the offensive line. Not great. So this was the most pressures they've allowed since going back to week 3 when they allowed 23, I believe, against the Raiders. So their highest pressure allowed output. And you look at how much pressure Tua avoided yesterday too, and that number could be worse in terms of sacks could have been added to it. A few things I wanted to show you guys actually. When you look at the passing direction for Tua Tagovailoa, other than the 2 deep shots he missed, pretty deadly up the middle of the field. 8 for 8 on 10 plus yards, between the 10 and 20 yard mark, 9 for 11 from the line of scrimmage to the 10 yard, and then 2 for 3 behind the line. So, and then that left side, he was pretty decent at too, pretty good across his body. But what I wanted to show you guys was, look at here, right here at the top here, kept clean, right? So out of 30 out of Tua's 49 attempts, he was kept clean, meaning no pressures, right? And he had an 80 completion percentage because he had 24 completions on 30 attempts. He averaged 7.1 yards per attempt. 213 of his 329 yards came there. He had 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He had an adjusted completion percentage because he had a drop of 86.2% if you actually add in the drop. And his average depth of target was 8.3 yards, which is ridiculously deeper than what Jacoby Brissett was giving us as a starter. So do you see what I'm talking about when I say how imperative it is that this team gets the offensive line right and that they protect the quarterback? Look at Tua from a clean pocket. Tua from a clean pocket is slicing and dicing. So keep the guy clean. Look at what this is telling you. This is telling you if you keep him clean, you're going to get high production out of them. Keep them clean. Simple as that. And then I wanted to show you guys with Mike Gesicki here. .92 grade over the middle when he's being passed to. Anyways, all right, look at this. Tua had a 118.8 passer rating when he hit him at the intermediate depth from 10 to 19 yards and deep from 20 plus. 4 for 4 for 94 yards from 10 yards and beyond when targeting Mike Gesicki. I mean, they've got something brewing here. You need to make the focal points of this passing offense Mike Gesicki and Jalen Waddle clearly. I don't know if they're going to extend him because I don't even know if he wants to be here right now. All right, and then when we go look at the defensive grades, Christian Wilkins was your top graded defender, followed by Jerome Baker. Wilkins had a 74.6. Baker had a 74.5. Zach Seiler had a 74.3. Jason McCourty had a 73.4. And Javon Holland was number 5 at 71.9. Nick Needham was actually the top graded corner with a 67.4. Jalen Phillips, I got to look at the tape, but he got absolutely shellacked by PFF. He was your lowest graded defender at 40.8. Adam Butler, 45.7. Iguavin at a 45.8. Noah Benogany at a 49. Noah Benogany was actually your worst graded secondary player, and by more than 10 points when you look at Brandon Jones. So, and then when we go into coverage versus receiving. So Noah Benogany, this is how he stacked up. Marvin Jones was targeted 4 times for 3 receptions, 54 yards, averaged 18 yards per reception for 1 yard after the catch. 28 yards was his longest reception, 2 first downs and 1 touchdown. Jamal Agnew was 1 reception on 1 target for 1 yard. Laviska Shenault, 1 reception on 2 targets for 1 first down. So in total, Noah Benogany was targeted 7 times. He allowed 5 receptions, 64 yards, 3 first downs, 1 touchdown, and he actually had a drop. Laviska Shenault had a drop. Jerome Baker was targeted 6 times. He allowed 4 receptions for 41 yards, 2 first downs. Justin Coleman, who was actually decent on the boundary, I thought. I said to EM, I said, man, I'd run Coleman and Needham on the boundary. He allowed 3 receptions on 5 targets for 28 yards and 1 first down. Andrew Van Ginkel had a rough day. He allowed 4 receptions on 4 targets for 47 yards and 3 first downs. Nick Needham allowed 3 receptions on 4 targets for 36 yards and 1 first down. Javon Holland was targeted 3 times. He allowed 2 receptions for 40 yards and 2 first downs, obviously, if he's targeted that deep. Eric Rowe, he was targeted 3 times, allowed 1 reception for 1 first down, but only 7 yards, and he had a drop against him, but he also had a pass breakup. Jalen Phillips against Marvin Jones, drop back into coverage. I got to see this on the tape. 1 reception allowed on 1 target for 11 yards and a first down. Brandon Jones was targeted once with Jamal Agnew, 1 reception, 24 yards and a first down. Landon Roberts allowed a reception on 1 target against Luke Farrell for 21 yards and obviously a first down. And so when you look at it, Noah Benogany, the 30th overall pick, I mean, in Andrew Van Ginkel's season, I mean, I don't even need to see this, right now. He just has not been the same guy we thought he was going to be heading into this season at all. And I wondered that, if you guys remember back to the offseason, I posed that question, is he going to be able to handle more responsibility and a higher snap count? And we're seeing it's not really working out that well. Hopefully he can turn it around. But Noah Benogany, rough day for Noah. absolutely painful for him to probably not only be a part of, but I know it was rough for all of us to watch. That's for sure. So Noah Igbenogany did not have a very good day by any stretch of the imagination. And people, we did not need PFF to tell us that. So, now just a quick update to show you guys. Currently Austin Jackson is still the number one offensive lineman in pressures allowed with 29, 3 ahead of Matt Nelson from Detroit. That's never good. Never good at all. And then if I just show you guys here, let me bring it up. Right now, Noah Igbenogany, I'm just gonna read it off to you guys instead of actually pulling it up because I have it on my Twitter for all of you guys to go check me out at _real_reason. Right now, as it stands, Emmanuel Ogbah is tied for the 11th most pressures. He has 21. He's tied for the 7th most sacks and tied for the 4th most QB hits amongst defensive ends. Christian Wilkins is tied for the 3rd most run stops amongst interior defensive linemen. He's also tied for the 3rd most tackles in run defense. And then to show you guys another thing I forgot to show you guys from the game. So let me bring that up for you guys. The pressures our defense generated. So when you look at the pressures, Jerome Baker and Emmanuel Ogbah were number 1 on the team with 4 each. Zach Seiler and Phillips had 3 each. Holland, Needham, and Wilkins all had 2. As a unit, they generated 25 pressures on 18 hurries, 5 hits, and 2 sacks. And this was their most all year of any game. So the defense was generating pressure. It's just, Trevor Lawrence is getting the ball out. So they generated their most pressures all year. So, and this was one of Jerome Baker's best games of the year, but it's not saying much when you look at the rest of his year, right? So, let's get into some next gen stats and start, let's get into this. Let's get in. Let's dive. So as we do every week, even when Jacoby Brissett was up, let's take a look at the passing charts. Let's start off with Trevor Lawrence. So when you look at Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence did a pretty good job beyond the 10-yard line. He was 8 of 15, and his touchdown became beyond 10 yards. He was spreading the ball around pretty efficiently against us. So obviously you got the throws made behind the line of scrimmage and inside the 10 because you got guys like Laviska Shenault, just like we got a guy like Jalen Waddle on this team, right? So, but when you look at it, good job of pushing it down past 10 plus yards by Trevor Lawrence against its defense. And you got to think if Byron Jones and Xavier Howard were healthy, would he have been as successful against us? And I really, I can't say that he would have been. I think we really, especially on Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones, it's like he had a revenge game against us yesterday because we didn't sign him and he really wanted to come here in the offseason. So he went out and decided to put on a show against us. So, yeah. Decent passing chart by Trevor Lawrence there. So when we look at Tua Tagovailoa, and y'all remember we kept going over Brissett's and seeing how Brissett, everything was inside of 10 yards for Brissett for the most part. Look at Tua. Look at Tua pushing that ball. I've been telling y'all I felt since that Patriots game, the mandate was to push the ball down the field, and I still believe it was. I mean, you look at the shots he was taking beyond 10 yards, right? So if you do the math, he was 10 of 15 from beyond 10 yards just by looking at this. So now the two touchdown passes were short little. The first one was actually he checked out of a run play, and he actually checked into the pass play for that first touchdown to Jalen Waddle. So people saying he doesn't check out of plays, they're wrong. If you were watching Tua Tagovailoa yesterday, it was clear he had command of the offensive line. I mean, go look at when Matt Collins was getting in a Jaguar player's face. He grabbed him, pulled him in, and brought him back to the huddle instead of, a potential penalty situation for Matt Collins for unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, Tua is taking command. You are seeing growth and development from this kid right before your eyes, but some of these people are so blinded by their hatred and by their delusional ways of thinking that they're trying to pin everything on him. But look at how many shots he took beyond 10 yards. The Brissett wasn't even doing that. So, yeah, I thought Tua Tagovailoa pushed the ball yesterday. I thought, he wasn't great, but I thought he was very good. He was right that notch under great, whether you want to call it really good or very good. I thought he was that. I don't think he was great, but I think he was very good or really good, whichever one. And if he didn't throw that interception, hey, and that's another thing. People are trying to paint the picture that Tua underthrew that interception. No. Go back and rewatch that play. All that happened was if you watch it, he pump fakes before he makes a throw. And the reason why he's pump faking is he's trying to get that defender that got the interception to bite on the route in the flats. He's trying to move him up with the pump fake. That's what he's trying to do. So he thought he was going to move up, and then he made the throw. He didn't move up. The pump fake wasn't enough of a sell, and he made the throw. So that's what happened there. It wasn't underthrown. But yeah, as we continue to look on at next gen stats here, so let's get into next gen stats. All right. So let that load. Look at the longest air distance completed was Jacoby Brissett on that wrinkle they threw in. Trevor Lawrence was 49.2 yards. The fastest ball carrier yesterday for the Dolphins was Matt Collins at 17.73 yards. The fastest ball carrier for the Jaguars was Trevor Lawrence, which is crazy. And then Wilkins had the fastest sack at 3.8 seconds. And then if you look at the passing chart, there you go. Pretty good stuff from both guys, really. Both were respectable for sure. I ain't hating by any stretch of the imagination. By the way, you got to remember, longest completed air distance. So if you look at this right here, it tells you the story. You can just put the math together of how accurate guys were beyond 10 yards, etc. So it's just right there. It's the passing chart now broken into directional passing chart for you guys. In terms of rushing, Salvin Ahmed, 7 carries, 22 yards, the same amount as Tua. The guy who had 2 more yards than Tua was Malcolm Brown, 5 carries for 24 yards. He found most of his success running to the right side, whereas Ahmed to the left, and he actually had a run negated, so it could have been even better. And then Gaskin, you see, he wasn't getting much going. In terms of James Robinson, he was really killing us between, that on that left side, between the center and the tackle. They were really giving us the work. So the right side of our defense needs to be better at setting the edge. And then receiving, the average receiver separation, Albert Wilson 3.18 yards, Smythe 2.98, Matt Collins 3.6, Waddle 3.83, and again Mike Gesicki making last year a memory where he averaged under 2 yards of separation per route, had 3.93. You go look at them, Taven Austin 0.65 yards, Arnold 3.62 yards, Chenault 3.39, Agnew 3.46, Marvin Jones 2.62, and obviously Mike Gesicki, the big day for 115 yards. And then you look at average separation from the quarterback. Wilkins, for the first week in a long time, was our number one at 4.19 yards. Phillips was the farthest back we've seen all season at 4.56 yards. But then look at Josh Allen. I mean, 3.87 yards, getting closer and closer. So not very encouraging on that situation. And then let's see here. Tua Tagovailoa had the 5th lowest time to throw according to Next Gen Stats. If we hop on over there, so Tua Tagovailoa had the 5th quickest release or the 5th lowest time to throw. When you break it down. So there you see him right there at 2.58 seconds. And then when you look at his average completed air yards at 5.7 and his intended air yards at 8.1, that's not bad. His aggression rate is way down than it was from last season, down to 14.1%. If you remember last season, it was like hovering between 22 and 23%. So that is very good to see. And that's just on the regular season. When we head to week 6 right now, in week 6, let's go click up here. Tua Tagovailoa in week 6 had the 7th shortest time to throw at 2.57 seconds, 6.3 completed air yards over 8.1 intended air yards. His aggression rate, we just talked about over the season, it's 14%, but it was only 8.5 yesterday. Again, way down from the 23, 24, 25% we were constantly seeing last year. And that's good. That's a reflection of the separation right now, right? So, and then obviously the 95.1 quarterback rating, and the 70.2 completion percentage. So, decent stuff from Tua Tagovailoa yesterday, that's for sure. So before I open it up to you guys for a little bit, I just wanted to go. I don't think I've ever put up a Armando Salguero article, but I wanted to put up this portion for you guys. And I'll let you start piling in the back. I'll drop the link for you guys. But I've actually I don't think I've ever put up this, but hey, the first for everything. I've only ever put up reporting on everything's reporting. I've never put it up an opinion piece of him. I don't know if you can count this as an opinion piece, but whatever. So this is a portion from his article today, and he talks about Bill Belichick's disappointing coaching tree. He said, add Miami Dolphins coach Brian Flores and New York Giants coach Joe Judge to the expanding list of former Bill Belichick disciples who have or are failing as head coaches. The list previously included Matt Patricia, Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, and even Romeo Crennel, all fired after getting the chance to lead a team. Judge is 7-15 in his second season, including 1-5 this season. Flores is 16-22 without a playoff appearance in his third season, including 1-5 this season. So why? What's the common problem? And the reason why I'm telling you all this and showing you this article, guys, is because I've been trying to tell you all this is what's going on behind the scenes. No one's wanted to listen to me. All these coaches learned and generally followed the Bill Belichick way in the manner they handled players, set organizational priorities, and dealt with people both inside and outside their organization. All of them ruled with an iron fist, as in their way or the highway. All refused to stray away from principles they learned under Bill Belichick, even when those were failing. There was at times a feeling of paranoia, fear, and even repression in locker rooms, according to multiple players. In short, the Belichick disciples didn't exactly make coming to work every day a fun experience. They relied on game day success to be everyone's reward, except none of them enjoyed consistent success on game days. So the formula often failed because there was no payoff for accepting the exhausting work atmosphere. This approach typically works with young players for a while because they don't know any better, but it often meets resistance from veterans, which is why all the teams the disciples joined had to jettison so many veteran players. Sound familiar? Another problem is when young players can turn away from the Belichickian approach after a while. All of Belichick's disciples believed it wasn't good to raise any individual player above the rest. The problem is all players are different. Some need to feel empowered, and when they aren't, they react negatively. That was the problem with McDaniels in Denver with Jay Cutler. That was at times been an issue in Miami with safety Minka Fitzpatrick, Kenny Stills, and even sometimes cornerback Xavier Howard, which I've told y'all. Belichick could get away with it because Tom Brady, who's clearly the reason the Patriots dominated for 2 decades, allowed himself to be grouped with everyone else and yelled at more than anyone, even as he was becoming arguably the best player in NFL history. But not everyone shares Brady's willingness to be the first in line for blame when things are rough. Also, none of the Belichick disciples enjoyed a Brady-type talent on their roster. They did, however, wear on people. With perhaps Cornell as a lone exception, all the Belichick disciples were hard to work with and for, according to past players and people within their organizations. And after a while, some players wanted out. Some assistant coaches wanted out. Top assistant coaching talent didn't want to join when vacancies happened. It's not for everyone, folks. Brady also eventually wanted to exit, although it took 2 decades. One reason he was able to last so long was the reward. 6 Super Bowls was so high. None of the other Belichick disciples have been able to offer their players such a reward, even as they act insufferable mini-me Belichicks in other areas. And so the paranoia, the hard practices, the hard meetings, and long hours with little leeway, little reward take their toll. After a while, it's hard to buy into what a guy's preaching when what he's preaching isn't working, one former Lions player told Outkick. You're like, whatever, man, let us play, let's go, and see if that works, because your way ain't working. So, I mean, it's right there for you guys right now. I mean, I've been telling all you guys for quite some time that this guy it's not all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for the Miami Dolphins. But let's go even deeper into an article that came out about an hour ago from PFN. And it's not pretty, people. It's not pretty at all right now. So, and I'm going to open up. We got a full backstage. Don't worry, I'm going to get you guys. Let me just get to this. So, what's next for the Miami Dolphins? And this is written by Adam Beasley. Where does head coach Brian Flores stand after the most damaging loss of his career? A day after the Miami Dolphins suffered their worst loss under Brian Flores, there was no major organizational shakeup. Rather, the coaches mostly responsible for the 23-20 loss to the Jaguars, which was Jacksonville's first win in their last 21 games, went about their business as usual. Flores met with reporters late Monday afternoon after the team's transatlantic flight home. When Miami's third-year coach must know that this franchise is in crisis, Flores did his best to keep an even keel. Flores stood by his and his staff's 2 disastrous fourth down decisions and play calls that decided the game Sunday. First, the Dolphins chose to run out of shotgun on a failed 4th and 1. Then they called a timeout on Jacksonville's, on their third down play, allowing Urban Meyer to change course and dial up a short pass that put the Jags in makeable field goal range. Flores said he's at peace with both of those calls. That's a problem. We got a 1 at Flores. Where's the passion? He later added, we came out of it feeling that those are the right things to do. Translation, sorry, Dolphin fans. No major changes now, perhaps for the duration of the season. The truth is, if Flores was going to fire his coordinators, he likely would have done so by now. What's more, he acknowledged that co-OC George Godsey, Eric Studesville, and Josh Boyer, who are largely responsible for this brutal start to the season, have been his support system during his 5-game skid. Oh, boy. And we've talked about how he has no one to lean on with experience, and there you go. Flores also leaned on his non-football staff, head of security Drew Brooks, player development director Caleb Thornhill, and team trainer Kyle Johnson to determine the pulse of an underachieving. This is how bad it is. This is what has happened when you surround yourself with a bunch of yes men and inexperienced people. The head of security. Why are you asking football questions to the head of security? What the hell? Does a burger flipper at McDonald's go ask a guy who sells sneakers at Foot Locker what the hell goes on a Big Mac? Jesus. I'm not even going to read this quote from him. What I've gotten is there's still a lot of belief in our team. Shut up. Give me a break. All right. Is that true or is it wishful thinking? We've heard there are plenty of players in the Dolphins organization who no longer want to be there. And perhaps some of them will soon be gone with the trade deadline in 2 weeks. If the Dolphins bottom out, assuming they're somehow further to fall, against the Falcons this week and Bills next week, they should unload whoever they can. There's no one on this team untradeable, and cap space saved this year is cap space earned in future years. Of course, we have no clue who will be spending that money in 2022. General Manager Chris Greer can't feel great about his job security, but based on what the Dolphins have put on the field this year, no one should. Owner Stephen Ross has fired coaches and GMs for less, and he was only half kidding when he put Flores and Greer on notice at the grand opening of the team's new practice facility prior to the season. I hope we are hosting the Super Bowl trophy in a very short time, with the emphasis on short, Ross said in July. If we can't win with a facility like this, then you never will. Well, I think you meant to say we can't win with this regime. Let's go see what we can with others. Never mind the facility. Flores acknowledged that he and Ross have spoken about the team's skid. Obviously, he's disappointed. That should be an understatement. I don't want to speak for him, but I know that he wants to see our team have success. This is from Flores' presser today. That's really everybody. He's no different than players, coaches, and staff. Just the same old, I think collectively, Steam, Garfinkel, Chris, Brandon Shore, all these people are disappointed. We know this. Is Brian Flores the next coach to get fired? Sunday's loss did more than further jeopardize Flores' employment status. It also, at least for a week, gave Urban Meyer a reprieve. The first-year Jaguars coach has already outlasted one of his peers. John Gruden was his first coach fired in 2021, but that had nothing to do with the team's performance and everything to do with his racist, sexist, and homophobic emails. But Meyer, who won for the first time Sunday after 5 losses to start the season, is still in real danger of being one and done in Jacksonville. Giants coach Joe Judge is also at serious risk of losing his jobs. Mike Zimmer and Chicago's Matt Nagy shouldn't feel too comfortable. And theoretically, if the Jets and Lions completely tank the season, perhaps rookie coaches Robert Saleh and Dan Campbell could be at risk. But as of now, Meyer, Flores, and Judge seem to have the hottest seats. So there you have it. Players don't want to be in Miami right now. And it ain't because of Tua Tagovailoa. Let's get that straight. All right, let's get it rolling here. Logan, what's going on, man?
What's up, dude? Sad times being a Miami Dolphin fan, man.
Bro, is there any deeper for us to even fall right now?
I don't know. There's a lot of things that bother me with this team. You know, can't cheer for our team for one in our own stands. You got a coach that every week he's like, "Oh, I don't want to say the same thing, but I'm going to say we got to do better." But then he doesn't want to admit that maybe he's the issue or maybe he should change something up. Obviously, he doesn't want to do that. People, the casuals, still want to blame Tua. Come on, man. Like it's beyond that at this point. Yeah, it's blatantly obvious.
Agendas at play, bro. Either agendas are at play or people don't know what they're watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a pick.
Yeah, sad.
Martin, you ready for 47 dropbacks to break down tomorrow?
I'm ready for whatever I see.
I'm taking the running plays out. The running plays are out. We'll be at 50 plays if I include this stuff.
Just jumping in, with what Dylan was just saying.
Is that a call? I gotta ask Logan. First of all, Logan.
Oh, my bad, Logan.
Is that a copper cup?
Yeah.
So instead of Cooper Cup, you have a Copper Cup?
Yeah. It's for mules, bro. You gotta
I was about to say,
drink a mule out of a copper cup, bro.
That's very true.
Anyway, sorry,
honestly, I stole it from my hotel that I used to work for because
Attaboy.
they stole a lot of hours from me. I used to work.
Now you've given all the people that hate you.
I gave them a middle finger. Yeah. By the way, I think Master at Work watches your show because I heard him on the AFC Roundtable. So here's a middle finger for him because I don't like him. So I hope he's watching.
There you go, Martin. Your opening thoughts.
Yeah. I will say that it I think it's getting to the point where Brian Flores, like Logan was saying, he's trying to avoid blaming himself because there's a reality that he has not positioned this team to any type of success moving forward. Like we've always said, he's just surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men. He has no person that can just overrule him, and it's showing. And I believe if Jim Caldwell was still there, Jim Caldwell would have been that voice of reason for Brian Flores to, slow it down and pump your brakes and just, do this the right way. Because Jim Caldwell, whether we like it or not, took the Colts to the Super Bowl, bro. He's
been to the Super Bowl as a head coach and a coordinator.
Exactly. And that would have been the best thing for us.
But instead of saying we need him, I ask why he didn't come back. That's a better question.
Josh Allen pick, by the way.
Florida born. What's going on, buddy?
All I gotta say is hallelujah to your opening sermon, bro. That's what I fucking needed to hear. Cause all these joke fucking takes on Tua, like the man literally showed everything you want to see in a quarterback. Leadership, plays with his legs, came back after throwing a pick, like literally I can't think of anything else. And then I heard somebody cry about 24 points, bro. Like you said, a W isn't a quarterback stat when it fits your narrative. You all wanted to see yards from Tua, and when you see that at a 70% clip at that, you still ain't fucking happy.
Right.
Yeah, and then it becomes a win to become a quarterback stat.
Right. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. I hate some of our fan base, bro. I really do.
Dylan, I'm not even going to touch that one, Florida born, because that's another rant for a different day. Dylan, your opening thoughts.
Chilling. Thanks for having me. This game's pretty good. This Bills-Titans game, I'm liking it. Yeah, no, look, I get it, man. The offense as a whole needs to score more than 20 points, but that wasn't on Tua, man. He did everything he could. That's on play calling. That's on all the rest of that bullshit. So, I mean, I don't know. You said everything else you need to say about it, so I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said, man.
CT, what's going on, man?
Rough day. I agree with everything you said. I loved your rant too. Florida born. I'm on the same page as you. I just don't even interact with anybody anymore. If I don't know you and I don't know I'm going to have an intelligent conversation with you, I just don't do it because it's insane, the hypocrisy, the idiot shit that comes out of their mouth. And again, we saw, and we've already said most of what needed to be said, but I wanted to highlight, you and I reason we even, talked about it at the same time in the second quarter yesterday. The fact that the entire middle of the field continued to get vacated because we were running these outs. Well, then we ran a couple ins and we saw they were wide open underneath. And you saw that they were continuously leaving the entire middle of the field wide open. And it took them till the end of the third quarter to start running shit in the middle of the field. You're like, dude, I'm not even a coach. And we're seeing this. And you're not. And you're in the booth. We can't even see all 22. And we're telling you it's insane. And don't get me started on Flo. I'm so sick of his bullshit. And the fact that I will call out Dan Campbell, and not because he was a former Dolphins coach, but because when he's asked the hard questions, he gives real fucking answers. And the dude flat out there the other week and said, we played like shit.
I love
We need to improve in this,
He's a
this,
fucking
this,
G,
and this.
bro.
And
Yeah.
he fucking cried. He showed he was upset about losing. And here it is with Flo giving us the same. Nothing's wrong. It's not wrong. We're okay. We're okay. And it's obviously fucking broken down like an 18-wheeler missing half its fucking wheels.
Okay, I gotta get to
But
other
no,
people.
it's okay.
I got other people backstage. I got 4 other people to get to here. So opening thoughts, not opening rants. John, let's hear your thoughts, buddy.
Tough day. I thought it couldn't get much worse, but it has.
Just
And
wait. Just wait.
I know.
We ain't even halfway through the season
I know.
yet, my dude.
Yeah. We're in for a long season.
Hopefully not, but yeah.
Z-Man, your opening thoughts.
What's going on, everybody? Another Monday, another Depression Monday. How y'all feeling?
Depressed.
Maybe worse.
Thank God Pyro's not up here.
At least two of a little masterclass for us to get us through the week.
Oh man, he's on
Hopefully-
stretch.
Damn, fool.
Another-
Yeah, I know. They took Tyler Juan's helmet off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad when we're already in week 6 and we're looking for moral
my God.
victories right now already.
Fucking hell.
Crypto,
this
you're
is another
opening.
Dolphin season, so you can't. expect
Yeah.
anything less.
Crypto.
Yeah, I got you. It's ironic. I'm looking at shows about tiny houses. The Dolphins has evicted me from my big house. I'm now in a tiny house. It is amazing the play of this football team. It's
I
just
mean,
making my world
uninspiring.
shrink. My
Uninspiring.
world is shrunken down.
Around you. Yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the
expectations have failed, bro.
And then Jan, your thoughts, buddy.
Hey, no, what's up, guys? Thank you very much. I'm very much on the same page with most of y'all here, man, and I'm thankful for that. I'm at peace with what I saw yesterday from certain players, man, because I see future. I see future, bro, and I just hope that we turn this team or these set of players and give them to the right hands, bro, because I think that's where the problem is right there. The hands that are, calling the plays and making, the play selections and the coaching and all that stuff. So I'm pretty much with y'all, man. I see future in this team, and I'm okay with, just seeing progress as the weeks go by.
Well, that's what we. Unfortunately, that's probably what we really only have to look forward to at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
When it comes to expectations, the likelihood of us making it to the playoffs is as slim as it could possibly be.
They're gone for me.
You need to win at least 10 of your last 11 games here.
Which is
10 of 11.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
This
sorry,
coaching, it ain't happening.
that ain't,
Bro,
I
we're
mean,
gonna lose to the fucking Jets, bro.
I think having Tua with us will make us more
I
competitive.
hope not.
I'm not
You
sure
lose to the
about
Jets. You lose to the Jets. You got to fire him in season.
Bro, the Jags
Yeah.
snapped
I
a
mean,
20-game lose streak on us.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jags should have been that game. Jags should have been that
if we're
game.
being
But
honest,
maybe
if we're being
maybe
honest,
this wakes us
that's
up,
when
man.
Pillman got
Hey,
fired.
Tannehill got a touchdown.
I wish
Look at that.
I had optimism, bro, but that
The
Jags
Colts game
loss
should have
took
woke us
it
up.
all from me.
I
bro.
agree.
No, bro, you heard Flores, right? He said he ain't changing nothing. So.
That's what.
Right,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means he's ready to lose to the
content with the
Falcons.
And that's the
plays
thing
that he
too. We
called.
kept talking about like
Letting
teams.
lose to the Falcons, the Bills.
We kept talking about teams like,
Everybody.
oh,
That
this
Bills
is the
game
team that's
scares
going to
me,
jumpstart
bro.
us. This team that's going to jumpstart us. Like, we're that team that's going to jumpstart people. Like,
Oh God!
Right.
now. Like, we can't say
Punching bag of
that
the
about
NFL,
us.
bro.
Like, yeah, and it's sad. It's like, and what bothers me was that, and I didn't get to talk about it because of that fucking work, but like that 4th and 1, that last play, right? And you got Tua, and they put the game in his hands this whole time. And what do? After 2 years of this failing, or maybe even 3, I don't know, 1 yard to go, you can't do it for two to 3 years. And what do you call?
A run
A
play.
run out of the
With
shotgun.
Malcolm
Out of the
Brown?
shotgun.
It's like
7
it's
yards
like,
from behind the line of scrimmage. You
it
call a
was
run
like-
play.
It was
You know that
set up
toy?
for failure, bro.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know
See,
that.
but
Doomed
that's
from the beginning, man.
That's the thing, though, man. But look at the narrative it spins to a lot of people about Tua, right? Like, it's so ridiculous. But unfortunately,
trolls,
though,
man.
you don't have your
Those for me are
coach
trolls.
even helping him out because he's calling something so moronic that you know.
Yeah, they're like trying to fit a square in a circle. It's like that
Yeah.
toy that my 2-year-old has with
That's
the
great saying.
circle, and she puts
Right.
the circle, like even she knows to put the circle in the circle. So why can't they figure out that square doesn't fit in a circle? Like what are
Yes.
we doing? I don't understand.
Flo must think he's got the Ravens personnel, because with the Ravens, that would have been a perfect play call with the type of running game they got. But we ain't got the Ravens personnel.
Yeah,
That's a terrible play call.
Hold on, though. Even in that case, it would have been in the hands of the quarterback.
Lamar Jackson, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
But it's
Exactly.
That what kills me about
running back that
they would have got the
pick up
yard.
a yard.
Like, they would have got the yard with Jacoby Brissett. Just do the stupid QB sneak. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
do something that works,
It was the
or
play
put it into
selection,
his
bro.
hands.
Line
because
up
you
under
gave it to
center,
him-
pound
gave
it
to him
ahead.
7
We shouldn't
times
have lost that
with
game.
Gesicki and Waddle giving you everything, or Tua could have ran it himself because he
Exactly.
showed you that he
That-
was
that-
the leading rusher. You know,
Logan, you just hit it on the head. That would have been option
doing?
1, 2, and 3. Just
One, two,
Right.
Waddle
Anything
or Tua
better-
running it. Yeah, give
anything
the
better
option.
than Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
and that's what kills me
Malcolm
about
Brown.
about this ignorant freaking narrative about how Tua didn't do anything to lose us this game, but he didn't do anything to win this game. Bullshit. He drove 91 yards down the field and scored a
Right.
touchdown.
CT.
And our
Right.
freaking
And put you
coaches
ahead.
squandered 2
Right.
freaking possessions that we had to put the game away. And then you're going to tell me that
Right.
Tua didn't win us that game.
CT, imagine
Right.
if fucking Jacoby
Right.
Come
Brissett
on.
was in the game. Imagine if Jacoby Brissett was in that
I
fucking
don't
game.
even want to talk about that, but
Right.
my whole point is stop
Yeah, let's
freaking
not.
with this stupid narrative that Tua didn't do enough. Tua
only-
did more than enough.
He did.
The
The only
defense
thing-
just did not show up
The only thing I
again
would-
for the 6th time this season.
Yeah.
More
the only-
specifically, Noah got torched.
The only thing I wish Tua did was check out of that play, but maybe he was too afraid that he'd get traded or benched after he did it because of what's
Right.
happened in the past.
Which player were we talking
Exactly.
about? Malcolm Brown?
Yeah, the Malcolm Brown.
You might not
I-
have
Yeah,
you
Malcolm
might not.
Brown.
By the
Right.
sounds of
I
what
don't think
Flores
he
was
had a
saying, he
choice.
didn't have the ability to check out of that play.
Right.
Maybe. I just wish. I don't know. I mean, we didn't have timeouts, right? Like, correct?
No.
Yeah, we was only spending them all.
Tua-
Oh,
Yeah,
we had
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
We had
we had
one.
one
We had
We had one left.
We hadn't used it yet. We used that
Mm.
for Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
to
but
get
Yeah,
back
but
that's-
you
to
can't
the
you
game.
can't call a timeout there
Extra
because if
yards
they got
there.
it, they didn't.
Yeah,
win
but
it.
that's the thing though, because that's what. Yeah, that's what ended
Calling the
up
timeout there might have actually helped us in the long run because it wouldn't have given him the timeout to call when they were going to go
Yeah.
for the Hail Mary for the
Well, it
slant.
would have been it would have
Exactly.
been better.
Yep.
It would have
That's
been,
true.
It probably would have helped out, right?
It certainly
about
would have
that.
been more useful at that point. I mean, you look at the way that goes, and it was just a terrible sequence of things. The two challenges that ended up, look, at the very least, you're not going to get it overturned because it's not going to be definitive. So don't bother wasting your 2 fucking timeouts.
really
Yeah, those
bad.
were
would have had them.
terrible.
And can we just admit that the Jaguars were destined to win that game
Bro.
just based off all the ridiculous things
bro.
that were happening?
Martin,
far as
I have never
Yeah, the
seen that
curve
happen.
field goal
I have
kick.
never-
It's
I've
crazy.
I've never seen them rule it a catch.
Oh, that's a
And
new
then-
thing with you, though.
You got
I saw it later in the day.
I've seen
The point of
referees
that
change
is
plays
the
before.
point of that is this season they're trying to not like stop the game and make it move faster. So they did it in a game at
No,
4 o'clock.
they're not on the block. That's just Neil Driscoll tweeting out a hypothetical. That's not fact.
Huh.
So this is like
Oh.
a new thing this season where the refs will get together, discuss it, and call it, just so there won't be a waste of time in challenging it. And that was
they've done
a
that in the past
discussion
before,
with
too.
the. I think it happened during the Cowboys game. I think it was Tony Romo.
Well, they
that-
did it twice yesterday. They did that on
Yeah.
the Gesicki catch, and they did it on that other play.
Yeah,
God, that
during
was
our
pissing
game,
me off.
but I
Yeah.
definitely saw it twice.
I mean,
in the
I've seen it in
afternoon
years
games when I was
past,
watching Red
not
Zone.
a lot, but I've seen it. in years
It's
past,
just
too.
a new thing they're doing to try to make the game flow better because people.
What's
are
crazy is they have the
Yeah, I
replays
think
going
it's a
on, and no one's
costing
looking
game.
up and and actually looking.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing is I don't blame him for the second one with the kickoff or the punt thing because, dude, if they do, which we all know it hit his finger, but whatever, it wasn't 100% obvious. But I get that one because that score changes the game
Yeah, and you
dramatically.
set a precedent, and you set a precedent.
Yeah.
Did it hit
Yeah,
the finger?
but
though? I
that
didn't-
catch
Yeah,
one
I'm
was
not-
a
I'm
wasted
actually not-
challenge.
I'm
It
not
didn't-
convinced
That
it
that
hit.
catch
me-
was wasted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knew it wasn't going to win
The
that
Gaskin
challenge.
catch, right? The Gaskin catch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one I don't agree with. But at least with the punt, we have an opportunity to swing the score in that, and so I could see that one. But the catch one, nah, that was stupid.
But after you call the catch one, bro, unless you know for sure, you don't call that second one, bro. Not the timeouts are like gold in a close game in the fourth quarter, bro.
Yeah, but we were up by 4 at that point.
The challenges, absolutely.
They would have overturned that catch. Like I saw that ball move. Everybody saw that ball move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
dude,
yeah.
his
Well, that's what
finger-
I'm
his
saying.
finger bent
Whoever,
backwards.
but you gotta understand, there's
I
someone
agree
up in
with
the booth telling Flores
Should
to
know
challenge
that.
as well.
Right.
That guy's
People
an
are,
idiot.
people are
telling
looking at it and they're saying, "Yeah, go ahead." They're confirming the challenge.
Right.
Probably
Well, I mean,
And if
Yeah,
someone,
which is
if no one is, and if no one is, and he's just going off what he wants to do, then that's another problem.
Yeah, that's
Well,
one of
yeah,
the
but
things.
if it was the people upstairs, they need to be replaced.
Yeah, but
the challenge
Flores-
he plays earlier in the season actually won if he threw the damn thing and he
Yeah,
didn't. So
but Flores,
that just
Flores-
shows how desperate he is right now.
they might tell him to challenge, but
But
he
he
still
doesn't
has to
challenge.
actually throw the flag.
Yeah.
Like he could be like, yeah, but no, I don't think so, because I mean, like it just you're not gonna get a definitive thing. Both of those plays were extremely close, right? So whatever the call on the field is gonna go, like 99% of the time, they're at least gonna go with a call stand. So it was just super wasteful.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you couldn't even this
Mhm.
kicker that barely hit that 53 or 54 yarder thing had to take a ridiculous
bro.
curve. You couldn't even ice him because you didn't have any timeouts.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
kinda,
wasted two
yeah.
on the challenges, and then you wasted the third one, giving them the fucking the
The
play
yards
that
they
they
needed to
needed
make the
to
field
set
goal.
up for the field goal.
Yeah.
So
Which is what kills me about this defense. Again, like I said in my little quick rant, but for 6 weeks now, it's the same bullshit. It's miscommunication, bad defensive play calling, bad defensive execution. And again, the whole point is we keep saying it. Flo's supposed to be the defensive mastermind, and we're just getting annihilated. And last year we had a great defense. This year it's trash.
Right.
And there's no denying that.
Yeah, our defense
It's cost us 5 games.
It's bad because we don't have leadership. Because he
that's
let them all go.
He purged them all.
That's huge.
Can't have any other alphas in that.
Yep.
Did you see that McKinney got picked up by the Giants?
Oh, finally somebody got him.
And he's going to be in a similar scheme. They said they signed him to the practice squad and they're fast tracking him after the physical to the roster.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Hey, watch. I bet you their run
Watch.
defense is going to improve.
Watch, he's gonna
And
make
wait,
a big
so we're gonna
stop
have to
against
play
us.
against him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna make a huge
What
stop
a
against
joke,
us.
dude! Oh my god!
He's gonna make a huge stop
What
against
a
us on
fucking
first.
yeah.
It's like
He's
we
gonna make
win.
a huge
Why do you have to tell
We
me
win
about
10
that?
games, and
Yeah,
then,
but you remember what Omar said? Omar
Omar
said if you listen to Omar on the Big O show a couple weeks ago, he said it wasn't performance based. He said it was something deeper than that, and he was digging into it. And once he got more details, he was going to tell everyone. And then he actually hinted at it today, saying that now he's on a
I
new.
haven't watched it yet.
No, on his Twitter, he basically said he basically hinted that now he's on a new team. He might be able to find out what happened.
Oh yeah.
It's because he's a fucking man and he gonna tell Flo how it is when he's fucking
Exactly.
wrong.
That's exactly what it is. I bet you anything.
I don't know if you
You know
guys
what I'm thinking about?
Oh man,
First
let's do another pick. Damn it.
Who?
Did you guys hear
Got
the
that one
first
on the
question
first
Omar
pick.
Kelly asked Flo today about who does he surround himself in a loss?
Yeah, and he said the head of security, bro.
Yeah,
Great.
No,
Tennessee Titans is going to be a tough out, Logan.
Oh my
Logan, the
God.
Titans going to be a tough out, Logan.
Bro,
He's talking about players people he leaned on, and this guy named like
have you
trainers and shit.
People
I'm like,
inside
what?
the
Have you done any security work?
Why do you
And
think
that's
that is?
what tells me.
No.
We need you to be the
Security. Should I be the head of
So you-
security?
yes, so you can give
Hey,
him that
Flo.
rant.
Flo, step into my office. Please.
Think about that, though.
And it's like the fucking janitor closet.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Quick.
exactly.
Think about that, though. Think about.
And then
think
all you
about
hear,
that for a
rumors
second.
out of Miami, more things are happening out of the janitor closet than the head coach's office.
But think
I
about
think
that
Omar
for a
Kelly's
second,
catching
though,
on
bro.
to what we've been talking about, though.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Hey,
Think about that
Hey,
for a
Reason. I'm
second.
looking at some guys at Oklahoma. What you think about those linebacker core they got up there and those running backs, man? They looking pretty good on defense, man. What do you
They
think
got
about them?
my bet. I think the best linebacker, in college right now is that kid from Georgia.
Yeah, they got one. They got some
man.
good ones too, but yeah, they got some pretty good defense. You know,
That
that's what
fucking
I was
Georgia.
thinking, man. That's
We
a
need to
target. You
draft
think that's a
Jacoby
good
Dean.
target in the late
Jacoby
20s, or maybe you
No,
think maybe
bro.
they're gonna go
no,
early?
No. Why the fuck a linebacker in the 20? I want Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah, an offensive lineman.
A lineman. With that, is he playing guard? Is he a guard
He's a
or
center.
you
It
target?
doesn't-
Which one you on? Oh, the
First
center.
of
Okay.
all, it doesn't matter because
All right.
we need to
Linderbaum's
fix
a
the
center.
entire offensive line
N'Kobe Dean.
and get better.
Yeah,
Jacoby-
center's a good target in the 20s.
Jacoby Dean
Okay.
is the
Well,
linebacker I'm talking about from Georgia.
Man, I want Jordan
okay.
Where's he
Davis,
going?
bro.
Where's
So-
he projected at?
And
Well,
Jeremiah
shit,
Jeremiah
he's going
Kelly's
in the
right. Devin
teens.
Lloyd is pretty good too. But I want because right now I think our pick is right now our pick is number 2 overall.
Yeah.
San Francisco's pick is number 13.
Yeah. As of right
We
now.
gotta pray
Yeah,
the Colts
2 and
beat them
13.
Sunday.
Yeah,
So
The Philadelphia Eagles right now have like
man,
3
they
picks
in
in
a
the
good
top
spot.
8. I think
Top
right
eight.
now.
That's
Something like
sick,
that.
bro.
Man, they looking
think
pretty
they're
good
gonna
with
be
them
loaded,
picks
bro.
now, man. They
Yeah, they're gonna
loaded.
be
They already look good, bro.
And they playing
we're-
not they're not
and you know
playing
what's the
bad this
worst?
season.
You know what's the worst? With that pick we traded them, I could have got Evan Neal.
Yeah. I mean,
Right now they got what do they have? They have 3, 8, and 9.
That's crazy.
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
10,
Are you
one in the
fucking
top
kidding
5.
me?
And the
Bro,
one
that-
in the
that-
top 5 is because of us, bro. Like that's fucking
Yeah.
a joke.
Watch
Real quick, though.
watch him get Thibodeau, Neal, and then Bucks. God, man, that's
Yeah,
sick,
Well,
bro.
Jacksonville
Yeah.
Jacksonville will probably go Neal number 2 overall. I'm looking
Right.
I mean,
at
but still, they're going to be able to get 3 top 10 talents, bro. But real quick, think
3 top
about
10.
that for a second. I wanted to say this
Hey.
before. Think of Flo having a head of security as one of his main
That's
confidants.
Phinish.
Think about how insecure you have to be for that to be the case. Like, come on.
I don't
He
even think it's that. I think it's he has nowhere else to go. I think he's way in over his head, and he has
Well,
no
that's
idea
true,
what the
too.
hell
No,
to
that
do.
That's
security
true, too.
guy probably builds Flo up. It's okay, Flo. You're still the man. You're the man,
Yeah.
Flo. You're the
Yeah.
man.
I'm sure he stands
Trying to
right
get a
behind
raise.
him and he reaches around to give him a little,
Yeah.
something
Mhm.
special when
For all
he's
we
feeling
know.
down.
Tug.
For all we know,
Yeah,
that security
you know.
guard is a football
Yeah, but we
genius.
we
He just
still got
doesn't
some of
listen
our
to him.
thirds. We still got some of our thirds and seconds though. Reason, right? We can still target
We
the
traded
linebacker position.
we traded
That's how
our
they get what's-
we traded our
No.
3rd round pick this year in the
For
Eichenberg
Leo.
trade.
Right, but we
Yeah.
still get a second. We still got 1 second remaining. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
What are they?
man.
Man, it's
What-
better
what
to
are
stay
they-
in the 4th or
What are
5th.
these guys really doing with their draft picks?
Right?
That's
Yeah, I
true too.
think
They're
that's
not
why
doing
I
it.
think
That's
staying
a
in the
problem.
4th or 5th.
that's why I was trying to say they probably best drafting late anyway, so they don't do nothing with their earlier picks.
Tua looks like he's going to be the only one that hits out of the
Out of all of them, yeah.
top 3 first round picks
Mhm.
they used in
3
2020
first
alone.
one. He's gonna be the only one to hit on.
Austin Jackson is
If they
still shit
keep
at
him.
guard.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna have to keep
But
him.
I'm-
there.
all I'm
Right
looking
on
at
there.
is all I'm looking at is this. Is these guys, Philadelphia is going to be able to come out with Kevon Thibodeau at number 3.
Oh my God, bro.
Then at
Mm-mm-mm.
number 8, they can take a quarterback or offensive lineman of their choosing. Then they can come back at 9 and take arguably the best player in the draft because he'll still be there, I bet you. Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre
Mhm.
Dame. And they're
Oh, my
gonna
God. That
absolutely
defense.
Totally
feast
rebuilt their
right
team.
now. Oh my
Yeah.
God. It's gonna be
That
good.
Yeah,
defense.
they would have
They're gonna
built their
make our-
team, offense and defense in
Yeah.
2 seasons. They
And
would
they
have
have
rebuilt
so
their team.
they have a ton of draft capital, but they didn't have to tank
Man.
to get it. But they're gonna
Yep.
like blow our draft.
No, they just had to
out
draft
of the water.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but look, they're probably gonna blow our drafting out of the water though and get 3 really amazing.
Oh, I'm sure they
players.
will. And then,
Yeah, they will. Mm-hmm.
Just despite the Dolphins with the top 5 pick that we gave them.
This is 100% without a doubt the hardest season to watch. Like
100%.
And I love
It's
Jalen
so
Waddle,
heartbreaking.
and I had him as
Oh,
my
shit.
number 1 receiver. Everyone knows this, but
Yeah.
you might end up
Yeah, he
giving
was
up
my
a
number 2.
number 12 pick
Oh
and
my
a
God.
number 3 overall pick,
That's disgusting.
and you don't even know how to
Number
use him
3.
properly.
I know. It's
Yeah.
so
He's
bad.
still not going deep. He
Feel
is
bad for
still,
him.
I know.
He's still
Not
not.
going
He's
deep.
still working the short and
10
intermediate
catches for
routes.
70
Why?
yards. That's 7 yards.
Or
I'm with
4 yards
I'm with,
behind the line
I'm,
of
I'm with
scrimmage.
Tyler right here. You draft Tyler Linderbaum in the first round, and then you take Breece Hall or Isaiah Spiller or one of these running backs in the second. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
trying
got
to.
that running
I'm
back.
not trying to.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because that guy from
This guy's a bulldozer, man.
I
Yeah.
just,
that one guy from that one linebacker from Wisconsin is going to be there probably 3rd or 4th round, but we don't have a 3rd.
I
so
like
maybe
Zamir White
it's
too, though.
From
I
Georgia.
need the
Yeah,
trade
man.
deadline to
from
hurry up and
Georgia.
get.
There's
What's
a
the
sleeper I
outside
really
Yeah,
like.
but
linebacker
CT,
from-
we can move some
There's
players
a-
on this roster and get some
There's
thirds and
a
fourth. CT.
sleeper I really like.
that's true.
I haven't watched him this year, but I liked his tape last year. And
Or
that's
Bijan.
I love Sincere McCormick. He's a lot of people are sleeping on him because he goes to like UDSA, so like no one really like pays attention. So, but I think I think Sincere McCormick's a beast for sure.
I can't remember his name, but that the dude from Wisconsin, man, I watched him now 2 or 3 weeks in a row. That dude, oh my God, he could play the pass, but dude in the run, dude, he's a monster, bro. He is a freaking monster.
Monster.
It sucks that the best running back in college football isn't even eligible this year.
Who is it?
Bijan Robinson.
Oh, Bijan is
Like
ineligible.
he's not a red
he's-
shirt.
And, oh,
Was he
He's
red shirt
legit,
reason?
bro.
Legit.
Yeah.
That
like I
Texas.
said, they gave them
Yeah,
almost
that's
all
a
of them
good
last
player.
year the option
That's a
of the
player.
red shirt.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
bro.
think
He's
about
a
a reason.
sophomore.
We
He's a
had
sophomore. He's
5
not a
running
red
backs that we passed on in the last 3 years. 5 stud backs
I mean, yeah,
that we passed on.
This regime
Man.
wouldn't take him even if he was available.
Think about it. Man, we have 5 stud backs from Jonathan Taylor to Swift to, I mean, you name it. A
J.K.
litany of backs.
Dobbins,
You name it.
Ramondre
Even Cam
Stevenson,
Akers for crying
AJ
out loud.
Dobbins,
So that's 6
Cam
running backs.
Akers.
I forgot about him.
Dude,
Yeah.
from
Don't forget
think
AJ
about it.
Dillon. You forgot AJ
Let's
Dillon.
deal with AJ Dillon.
That's 7.
That's
Let's talk
7.
more. Think about it.
Keep them going. Keep them going.
Man.
I mean, you can already project the ones we're going to pass on this next year. So,
So that'll be up to 10. So
Man,
we'd be in
but-
double digits, right, Dylan?
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. After you was talking about the
me
stats and how good this D line looks, man, I would love to get a good Mike linebacker behind this D line, man.
Me too.
Yeah, we
Bro,
said it in the
I'm not
comments,
craving for
man.
him.
But the problem is
They still need to
Flo's not going to do it because he's allergic to good middle linebackers, man.
And
He's just allergic
he's
to
too
them.
What
stubborn.
are you going to get
Right.
right now?
Darth Vader
Dogs.
donates 199. Says, "What do you think of Brian Robinson for Bama? I think he's good, but Bama fans are overhyping him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
watched
Mike
this week
linebacker.
and he
It's
he
been in
wasn't that
Division
impressive.
1, you know? Yeah.
We don't need a linebacker.
Like,
we
I would
got
literally-
Baker.
I would literally. if you're
Yeah,
not taking a
okay.
running
You
back in
said
the-
that.
If you're not taking a running back in the second, I would literally go out. I would sign Taron Armstead, or I would give Orlando Brown as much money as he wants to come here and play right tackle. And then
Yep.
based on that, I would either draft a left tackle in the second, or I'd draft a right tackle in the second, draft Linderbaum in the first, and I would revamp the whole offensive line.
We gotta get a
yeah.
vet. We gotta get a vet on that O line,
That
man.
ain't
We
gonna
got
fucking
to.
happen.
Yeah, at least one vet. Yeah. at
They're
least
gonna
one
they're
or
gonna
two.
sign. They're gonna
Need
sign.
one.
I will put money on it. They will spend money on an offensive lineman this year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
They're-
thing
they're
is,
back
it's
in the
too
corner.
late,
People forget.
too late.
People forget.
That's
We
the problem.
when people forget, we were a franchise tag away from Joe Tooney was the signing 2 years ago, and
Man.
once they got word we were about to sign him, they franchise tagged him, and that's why they turned to Eric Flowers like literally 10 minutes later. But that was
Which is-
that was Joe Tooney. That was going to be the signing.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
But I'm
that's the
just
Patriots
trying-
spicing. That's the
I don't
Patriots
want-
for you, spiting
I
the
don't want
Dolphins.
this. I don't want this
Hey, it's
personnel,
Cairo.
this front office anymore, man.
Right.
I'm
I
done with it.
agree.
I don't want them either, but I'm not gonna wish for them to lose, bro.
Yeah, but whether it's them or
The slide is starting, Logan.
whether it's them or another front office, I need these moves made. So I don't care who does it.
I just
But that's my thing,
right now, bro.
Let me just a quick response to Logan. I don't want them to lose. I just say whatever it takes for Flores.
Yeah.
But now you gotta get it. He's not getting fired. If he didn't get fired today, he's not getting fired this season.
No, he's
not.
Today would have been the day.
And I'm not trying to live through a 1-15 season right now.
That's great.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not saying,
we can't bear that as a fan.
I'm not saying that I want him to get fired during the season. I just want Ross to get the picture that it is more than just a quarterback.
Right.
We need, now we need.
This is my realization.
I
With
think
Stephen Ross.
I think
You're
Stephen
probably
Ross
gonna
has
get
already.
that.
I think Stephen Ross has already got that picture, bro. The only reason
Yeah.
he hasn't fired him is because he's looking around. Who can I replace this guy with?
I hope
Thank
so,
you.
man.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But
I
my
hope so.
whole thing
I don't
like
even
you
think
were
he
saying.
even cares at this point.
I'm surprised they didn't throw under the bus is Eric Studesville.
Yeah.
And the only reason he
Would've
hasn't
been
is
the guy.
because he's Brian Flores' boy.
The
And
running
but the
back,
thing
He's
is
real close
how
team.
in the hell does Charlie Fry get thrown under the bus? But we've seen such marked improvement into his freaking overall ability this year. Yeah, one of was part, him getting healthy, but him actually processing the game, understanding the playbook, getting better mentally, and he's absolutely done that. He's shown that.
Well,
And yet they're like, no, we're going to throw him under the bus because the three of us can't come up with a competent offense.
No, he got thrown under the bus for the play calling.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying, though, is that's their the scapegoat. And it's like, dude, you guys are all three coming up with game
Not
plans.
anymore, because from what I understand, what I put on the Patreon, Godsey assumed full control of the play calling, and that includes this game we just blew. So Charlie Fry is no longer able for them to throw under the bus. That's why you're not hearing him anymore.
I understand that. I was just saying in general, though, when they come up with a game plan, they all work together. Yeah, one person's going to be calling the plays. But if you still got a shitty game plan, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. That was my point.
Well, the game plan's only shitty to an extent because whenever they script their drives, they got no problem moving the ball.
Right.
That's
What I'm saying, but that's not play calling because that's already scripted. I'm just saying
that's part of the
play
game
call.
plan.
It's not in game.
That's part of the game
They
plan.
do that more than if
It's just not on the spur of the moment. It's not in real time.
Hold on. My question is, okay, we do good on the scripted. Is that more an indictment on the coaching or what?
That's
the coaching because they can't adjust.
Because after
they can't adjust.
Because after you get off the scripted plays, now it comes to you got to call plays to the flow of the game, to the strengths and weaknesses you're seeing on the field right now. It's when they come off script. And you know what? Tua almost scored off script yesterday, but what happened? The Ethan Carter hold.
Fucking penalty.
Yeah. But that's the thing is the scripted plays are literally the only part of the game that is legitimately planned. Right, because the rest of it is not planned. The rest of it is on the fly and
adjusting,
and so like they've been decent. They've been decent with their game plans, right? But then everything after that has just been, for the most part, garbage, except for what Tua's been able to mask.
Because it's crazy. Because a Bills fan came on Larry's channel, and did you see? Oh yeah, y'all was there, and he pointed out that we're like fourth in scoring in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter we're like one of the worst.
That's pathetic.
We are the worst. We are the worst.
We are the worst.
We are the worst.
No, we're almost. We are.
His regard.
Yeah, it's almost less than 1 point.
We're the
per
worst
game
team in football right
per
now.
quarter.
I know the
we jump up to 13. We jump up to 13 in the fourth quarter, though. So we're mid-range of the pack.
83 is 110% right. The play calling is garbage, and this isn't the only reason, but it's a contributing reason because the run game is competent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there's no reason why a quarterback coming off IR with fractured ribs should be throwing 47 times. Like, here's my thing. We were winning 10-3, and the guy had already thrown over 20 times.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like the game planning was bad, too. You got to commit to the run and stick with it. We just can't. We can't.
We just don't know how to run, man.
And it's just, yeah. And
Especially
look,
when
man,
you got a
it's just-
10-point lead.
It's scary. The thing that scares me and the thing that I'm worried about is because, look, Jacksonville's D-line is not particularly great, right?
No.
So, but in a couple weeks, we have to face a line that is pretty good and against the Bills. And, man, I mean, look, there was a ton of pressure on Tua. He masked a lot of it. But there was a ton of pressure on him.
Yeah,
and, you know, and you can even see on a number of occasions where he was trying to avoid getting hit and stuff because, you know, those ribs are still not fully healed, bro. So, like,
they take 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that'll be right around the time we play the Bills. So hopefully they're, you know, totally healed by then. But I'm saying, like,
healed in time for Davis to whiff on a block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
Hey guys, I feel great. I'm fully healthy, Davis.
Yeah.
Ole, ole, ole.
It'll probably be
Fucking Davis.
too. It'll
Allowing
probably be
cornerbacks to come off the
That's
edge.
the problem. Our tackles are better matadors than they are tackles, bro.
My question is, how do
That's what I'm worried about, man. Is
like
just scares
I don't consider PFF the gospel. But anytime you come away with grades that on offensively, your tackles are the 2 worst graded players on the team. That's and I saw Eichenberg. Like, what's crazy is Eichenberg looks better than Jackson. Like, he looks way more fundamentally sound, but the arm length is still a clear issue.
Yeah.
Especially with
And his
athletic
strength.
guys when he can't get a hold of them and they can just go
And
around.
his strength.
Yeah,
Oh my God, so many
302
times.
pounds, 6'6".
That's the thing is
that's
the
not a
offensive
slim
line-
frame, right?
The offensive line did better the
Yeah,
past couple
his-
weeks for sure, and the Bucks have a pretty damn good defensive line, so that is important context. The Jags do not, but they're still not playing like great football either, right? So like they need to improve a lot before the Bills.
Look at
game,
CB83 just dropping bombs for the 4th and 1. It's very hard to run on NFL teams out of shotgun. Not many teams can do it. When they do, their O-line is good and their running back is a monster. For example, Dallas, Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know,
And another thing that I noticed with our running game, though, in the first and second quarter,
buddy, if I'm Brian
we did-
Flores and that call, because you got the headset on, you're hearing him. If that call comes through, I'm saying, what the
What?
fuck?
Are you
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I'm
kidding
saying.
me?
Timeout! I'll use my last timeout. Timeout!
Yes.
No, boys. Let
That's
me
what I'm
take this
saying,
call
bro.
for you.
Yeah,
Like-
that's what I'm saying. He can totally veto a play that comes in. He can. He's the
Well,
head coach.
Shouldn't
Nobody,
he?
and they're all
Shouldn't
yes
he?
men.
He told us all that I'm not a defensive coach. I'm an offensive coach too. I'm a head coach. Shouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Have
He's
with
not
veto?
even-
By his
He's
own
not
word.
even
true.
a
He did say
fucking
he wasn't a
defensive
defensive
coach.
coach.
He's a fucking position coach. I don't even know if he's fucking that, bro.
Yeah, buddy. I said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it for everyone to hear. He's a glorified defensive coordinator, bro.
Yeah, at best.
Agreed.
That's his best.
And the
That's
thing
where
that
he is
kills
right now.
me, what kills me though, is if you guys notice, and I know you say you're cutting the run plays out, reason on the all 22, but
Includes
early in the first and second quarter, we were running man-to-man blocking running plays, and we were doing good job. Guess what?
Salvin
In the
Ahmed.
second half, we started pulling freaking linemen and playing that cutesy bullshit again. And guess what? Our running game disappeared.
So I've
Yeah,
heard a couple people on say like we gotta give or Flo deserves a grace period with us because he went 10-6 last year. He won 5 games. Bad thing.
No,
Bro,
no.
I wholeheartedly disagree, and this is why. All of the assets that we have,
There you go.
and he's got a say in it. So, like, I'm
Since Jump
sorry,
Street.
but, like, he has to be held accountable, and we're allowed to. How many years have we watched this franchise disappoint us? We all put our time, our money, our feelings into this. Like, we're allowed
But
to
it's-
criticize them.
But the
And
thing
I've heard
is-
a couple people say, like, oh, no, you can't criticize them. It's like, why are we not allowed to criticize?
But we're
Now, I'm
allowed
not
to
saying,
criticize
like, have
too.
a hate campaign against them. Like, maybe.
But
we
bro,
can
his
do that 11-game winning streak, but
his ego's
10%
nothing.
chance of the playoffs right now. is
EJ,
where-
don't remind me. Spencer Brown is someone I wanted us
Yeah,
to draft, and he was there in the 3rd round, but we took Hunter Long. How's that working out?
yeah, bro. His ego is nothing new though, right? Like that's been around for 3 years. So a lot of the problems that we're seeing now have been lingering in the background. The only reason why people didn't want to see it was, one, because it was early in his time here, but also because surprisingly we won 5 games in 2019. And whoa, guys, look at that. We doubled our win total last year. Head coach or coach of the year, man. He needs to be the fucking, put up on a pedestal. Nah, bro. Nah.
Best coach since Shula.
We're just seeing it all come to fruition in year 3 because it's had time to settle and percolate and fucking.
And now you are seeing the result of them not overachieving and the ball not bouncing the way consistently like it did last year.
Facts.
Now this is what you're getting, 1-5. Now they're getting exposed that at the core of this, there's fundamental philosophical issues that need to be repaired before this team can even think of winning a Super Bowl, let alone enter the playoffs. So we're about to hit 2 hours, and I know this is going to take a while because it usually does. So let's do final thoughts. Let's start with you, Logan.
Yeah, man. I mean, hopefully we can go on that 11-game win streak. Pray
That'd be fun.
That would be awesome, but ain't counting my chips on that
Dreamweaver. Okay, not happening, bro.
No, it's not. And Dylan had that 9-8 record. Man, I'm at that point. Dude, if we even win 9 games, it'd be a miracle.
That was me being generous, too, after the preseason. People laughed at me for having a 6-11 record originally.
Because, all these issues were, in the back of my head, but I was like, nah, it's not going to happen. Because Tua's going to find a way. And then he got injured with cracked ribs, right? So here we are.
That's fair.
And then, but I didn't think the coaching would be this bad, or our defense would be, 32nd on third downs and not getting any kind of turnovers.
Funny about the part about this is they start to stabilize the offensive line, but everything else falls apart.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's the timing. It's we have such bad luck, and that's what I was saying. It's this year's so hard because we had so much hope. I watched that 1-15 season. I watched every single game, but it didn't feel as bad as this.
I even taped games and came home after work and watched them.
To watch it,
and then stayed away from the results all day.
Yeah,
during that season.
And this just rips my heart out, just because where we were with all those assets, all those draft picks, all those promises, and it just sucks. But I still will never.
Bishop Neal's speculating. That's not fact, bro.
Sorry, Pyro. I understand what you are. I get it. But at the same time, I don't understand because I'm not going to root against my team.
I'll explain my piece when it comes to me.
I know. I get it. I don't like flow, but
Dylan, your final thoughts, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's wonderful talking with you gentlemen, as always. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I get it. I get people wanted the hope and the, I do too. I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'm like you, Logan. I'll never root for them to lose. I'm not doing it now. I didn't in 2019. That's why I didn't like the tank philosophy, part of it anyway. But, unfortunately, the fact of the matter is this stuff, a lot of these fundamental and philosophical issues that we're seeing now have been, as I said before, percolating in the background all this time. And now that it's able to get to the full stage, the full growth of its corruption and decay, this is the result. And unfortunately, the writing was on the wall, but now we just have to deal with it because it's what we're given. So, fins up, and we'll just try and deal with it together.
And Mark Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, when they're tied at 20 on 4th and 1, had the ball taken out of his hands, so the ball game was not in his hands. Give me a break. Z-Man, your final thoughts.
Well, this is just another Monday night in Dolphin misery. Same thing that happened with Gase. Got us attendances last year, got to the playoffs, and then next year we went to 7-8 or whatever the record was. It's just another year, man. Just another year. Hopefully they find the right coach. Hopefully they figure out offense. Hopefully they figure out defense, but they probably won't. So. Fins up.
John, your final thoughts.
This is just depression. Fire everyone at the end of the season.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Never going to a season with
Buddy, I'd be leaving an empty can No name, no brand name on it, no nothing. An empty can in Brian Flores' office every day for the rest of the season. And then on the first day of the offseason, there's no can. And he comes into my office and says, "Where's the can?" "Oh, you don't need one. You know why? You're canned. Get out of here." All right.
Never going into a season with expectations again because
Just mind
I had
fuck them all season. That's what I'd
high
do.
hopes.
Yeah, I told everyone expectations had arrived. No one wanted to believe me. Here we are. Everyone's down and depressed because expectations were not lived up to so far. CT,
Right.
your final thoughts.
To be quick, and in all honesty, I don't believe in Flores. His character is showing that there's so many things that concern me about this team. The haters can shut up about Tua. The dude, like Reason said, 4 to 6 weeks for a broken rib. It can be 6 to 8 with recovery, but he comes out and throws over 300 yards, drives a 91-yard touchdown drive. Just stop. Just please stop. And I don't have high hopes for the rest of the season, unfortunately. I hope that we continue to see Tua's development, but that's it, really.
Shout out to Jaggernaut for the comment of the night. Tomorrow's breaking news: Dolphin security guard fired for calling a shotgun running play that sealed the Dolphins' fate against the Jaguars. Oh my god,
That's good.
Crypto, your final thoughts.
Man, I don't know how to follow that one up. That's a good one. Man. Who would have thought we needed 11 wins, straight wins, just to make it above 500? Out of the next 11 games, we got to win 8 just to get above 500. Ooh, that's going to be a tough task, man. The shoulders, the burden, man, is crazy.
Maul, okay.
Yawn, your final thoughts.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. So I actually still see us being competitive with Tua in. Gives us a better chance of winning, especially if he continues to play like what he looked like yesterday. That's what I'm honestly hoping for moving forward on each game that Tua's in. If it's true that Flo has these character issues, man, then we're in deep doo-doo ishness, because if it is true, then I don't see, how we can get out of this, bro, because I don't see Flo going anywhere anytime soon. And if he's the problem, then I agree he needs to go, because he has a kid, man, a tough kid, mentally strong, a fighter in Tua as, the head of his offense. And it doesn't seem like he's wanting to back him up. And he's the type of kid he preaches supposedly he likes to have in his locker room. So that's contradicting himself. And if that's the case, then for me, the problem is Flores, and that type of attitude doesn't go with me. So, but like I'm saying, I mean, if it's true and nobody's doing anything about it, I don't see how we're gonna be able to do anything about it, and we're just gonna be stuck in doo doo, man. So that's what I have to say.
Quicksand is shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leahy. Pyro, your final thoughts.
I just want to let everybody know that I don't enjoy the Dolphins losing. Okay, let's just kill that narrative, that false just kill that off. I actually do cry myself to sleep, knowing that we lost to the Jaguars. And it really did hurt me, man.
It stinks, of course.
You honestly couldn't believe. I thought, man, damn, I must was a nightmare. Then you look at the standings and stuff. We at the bottom of the barrel of the AFC East. So it's
bottom of the barrel of the NFL.
At NFL, but I'm just saying, man,
it hurts. I'm with you, bro.
It hurts, man.
Are we literally the only 1-5 team? 1-5 team.
Well, there's the Lions, but I still think the Lions are better than us.
The Lions is better. They lost a couple hard
Yeah, they got Dan Campbell. Of course, they're better than us.
Well, they have
the Lions put up a better overall fight than us.
That's what I'm saying. They got a better coach.
Can't be compared to them right now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame right now.
I think we're the worst.
And that's terrible to say.
We're the worst team in the NFL.
We're officially the worst.
That's the scary part. We truly seem to be.
NFL.
So I can't even end my statement with fins up, because right now it's
His
I'm
fins
too
down.
depressed, man. You don't need to say that, man.
Yeah.
Sucks. It's really
It's not
depressing,
real.
man.
You
I
don't
understand
feel
you,
it.
bro. I feel the
It's
same.
all a bad dream.
I'm just, getting ready for next season now with the off-season moves and whatever happens this trade deadline. Just looking forward to see if Coach Flores' issue gets fixed. Man, I don't know, bro. It's just crazy.
I get that, but I also
preparing
want
for
to.
next
I want to
season don't
see
even make
Tua
sense.
progress.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to see Tua progress this year, so we can finally shut these fucking idiots up. That's all I want. That's really all I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. That's it.
Those guys who say that
I
dumb
agree with
stuff
that,
are
Logan.
nothing but trolls.
I agree with that.
That's a crying dolphin right there.
That's all I want.
I don't
That's
know,
all I
guys.
want all year.
We got a coach that relies on the head of security to help to lean on him when he's feeling down. So I don't know if it gets lower than this, boys. But guys, me,
Yeah, that's
Logan,
good.
and Martin will be back tomorrow night. We will break down all 47 passing attempts by Tua Tagovailoa. And we'll dive into it and we'll see what's good. Bro. Finally, Tua's Day returns on Phinside the NFL. So I'll see y'all tomorrow night around 9:30. Until then,
fins up, guys.
Fins up, even if he needs Cialis.
Smash the like button.
Even if the Dolphin needs Cialis, fins up all day, every day, baby.
That's the only